Listen, have you ever wondered how some guys manage to get into great shape by just working out and hitting the treadmill a couple times a week and they look like $1,000,000, and other guys can do every weight loss system under the sun and still not manage to get results? Well, the truth is the answer is actually pretty simple. And the reason I know this answer is because I was that guy, right? I spent over a decade of my life since I was 16 years old trying to lose weight that never worked. And it just comes down to not understanding the stuff that actually matters, that actually burns the fat. And the guys who actually get the results understand this. They understand the things that work, and most importantly, they understand the things that don't. When I finally uncovered this after a decade of trial and error, I was finally able to lose 40 pounds, not once, but twice. And now I help guys like myself actually lose the weight. So in this video, I'm going to uncover the 3 cardio mistakes that you are more than likely making if you're having trouble losing weight. The truth behind the cardio that actually works with burning fat. And most importantly, the system that you can use that I use to personally lose over 80 pounds of fat. So you can just simply plug and play and finally get the body that you've always wanted. But first, guys, if you guys are new here, my name is Jace and I help guys become the best versions of themselves through self-development, weight loss, and everything in between. So if that's something that interests you guys, go ahead and leave a like and hit the subscribe button. The first mistake I see a lot of guys making is either 1, they don't do any cardio, or 2, they do way too much. I was talking to my coworker the other day, and he has a personal trainer, and he was like, yeah, man, like trying to tone up, but like I don't do cardio. And I was like, why? He was like, oh, because the trainer said. And I was like, this is a professional trainer. He's telling you not to do cardio to tone up. Cardio is a tool just like everything else on your tool belt when it comes to weight loss, but no cardio. Cardio is it's an accelerator for fat loss. So if you're not doing it, you are really shooting yourself in the foot to really get where you want to way faster. Now, on the second part of that is way too much cardio. And this comes back to trying to out gym a bad diet. You try to do more cardio because you think if I burn more calories, I could eat more, or I don't feel as bad eating that extra piece of cake, eating that slice of pizza, which makes sense on the surface level. But when you understand science and how the different types of cardio and how your body responds to certain amounts of cardio, you would understand that this would not help you with fat loss at all. Because when you do too much cardio, your body starts to go into a fat saving machine. What it is experiencing is a lot of stress on your body. What it's doing is flushing your body with cortisol, and what that does is that holds on to all your fat. Keeping it simple, it burns everything else. It burns your muscle, it burns the food that you had that day, it burns the energy that's currently in your system. It doesn't burn into your fat storage because it's too high stress. It needs instant energy, and instant energy doesn't come from your fat. Instant energy comes from everything else. So too much cardio will put too much stress on your body, hence not letting you burn the fat that you want. And then no cardio, well, that's pretty self-explanatory. You're not doing cardio, you're gonna lose weight a lot slower than you probably want to. Going back to when I was first 16 years old trying to lose weight, I would do these high intense interval training sets that would basically be like 40 minutes, and it was extremely high intensity, right? It was like 45 seconds of like extreme full effort, and then 15 seconds off, and then you do that like for a 45-minute period, which is insane. Now, did I lose weight? Yes. But did I lose everything else with it? Not just fat, but the muscle that I built over the years of training? Yes. I got extremely skinny, as you could probably see in this picture here. I got really skinny, and it's because what happens when you do excessive amount of hard cardio, like is promoted in a lot of these fitness videos, is that you end up the same way that when you do too much cardio, you put that stress level on your body. This is even more extreme when it comes to high intensity cardio. That stuff like HIIT, stuff like boxing, stuff that's really intense on the body and your nervous system. It does this double fold. It drops an extreme amount of cortisol in your body, and it's basically you're not burning fat, you're burning a lot of muscle. Now, will you burn fat with it? Yes. But if your goal is to look lean and shredded, you need the muscle to be able to look that way. If not, you will simply look like a runner. If you look at a picture of a runner, they run a lot. but look at their body frame, look at their structure. They are extremely skinny. They don't have a ton of muscle. That's how you'll look if you don't do these, if you do too much of this high intensity training. There's a lot of other reasons why you shouldn't. Just to give you a few, you're gonna be extremely hungry because you just burned a shit ton of energy, not calories. Yeah, you burn a good amount. You probably burn like 600-800 calories, which is a lot, right? That's a meal. But you also burned a lot of energy, and that 800 extra calories isn't gonna fuel you as much. You're probably gonna wanna eat double that, right? So you're extremely hungry, which is gonna make the rest of your diet, eating on your macros and on your calorie intake, extremely difficult, right? Another thing, you're gonna be exhausted, you're gonna be tired. If you're doing that along with weightlifting and along with eating less amount of calories, you are going to be a zombie about a month in. You are not going to be able to move the needle very much after about a month because you're going to exhaust yourself. And the main thing with weight loss is it's a gradual thing you want to do over time. Now, I'm not saying HIIT is all bad. You can implement HIIT once a week, maybe even twice a week, at most at the end of your cut. But that's for later, right? That isn't something that you start with. So too much HIIT will actually have you lose a ton of muscle, maybe have you burn a little bit of fat, but it is not optimal whatsoever. And number 3 kind of just piggybacks off of that. Harder does not equal better. All harder does is make your body freak out on you. All it does is make you more hungry, make you more tired. Harder does not equal better. Harder equals harder. And harder is not something you want to be doing if you're trying to lose weight consistently and actually change your lifestyle. Try doing HIIT cardio 5 days a week with a job, with going to school, with everything else and obligations that you have in life. It's not gonna happen, brother. So those are the 3 major cardio mistakes that I noticed when I asked people, what is it about cardio that you're doing? And these were the mistakes that I was making. If you could debunk these mistakes right here, you'll be in front of most people, because now you understand that just because you work harder at the cardio portion doesn't mean you're gonna get the result that you want. So now you're probably wondering, what's the result? How am I actually gonna lose the fat? Now, this is where the real knowledge comes in. When I learned this part of the system, I actually understood what real cardio is when it comes to fat loss, why it works, and how to implement it successfully so there's no burnout, right? You could actually maintain this for life, not for a little fucking 2 weeks and then you fall off of it and then you binge and you have to start all over again. For life, you could do this for a long period of time, which is a lifestyle change, which you're gonna need when you're gonna lose weight, right? It's gonna be engaging. You could actually still engage in life. You're not gonna be exhausted after doing this. You're not gonna blow your macro count, right? You're not gonna be extremely hungry, not being able to fight off the discipline to not eat more food because you're starving because you're not doing the right kind of cardio, and then you're gonna fall off and once again start off at the beginning. So with that being said, this type of cardio is exactly the opposite of what I was taught growing up on the type of cardio you should be doing. All right, so number 1, high intensity was fucking me up at the beginning. Reason was because of the cortisol level. Now, when you get into the scientific factors about this, again, cortisol is not your friend when it comes to fat loss. It pushes your body in the opposite direction of actually burning fat. So what do you want to do then? How do I burn fat without raising my cortisol level? And that's simple. That is simply doing cardio that does not initiate this response, that does not have your body freak out on you. So what kind of cardio would that be? It's gonna sound way too good to believe, because this is the way, when I found this out, I was like, bro, there's no way that works. And then you try it for 2 weeks to a month and you're like, what the fuck, bro, that worked. Because you're so taught that harder equals better. And it's the complete opposite. Walking, doing low intense cardio is a magnet for fat loss. It will melt the fat right off your body. And when you get into the science of this, it makes complete sense. Now, what is fat made for? When we hold fat on our body, it is simply stored for times where we need extra energy, when resources of food aren't available to us. So this is not a storage that we use when we are burning, when we're in high stress situations. That's not the energy we use. This simply means low intensity will burn your fat. No cortisol response will have your body take fat from where it's not panicking. It's your body's basically saying, oh, it doesn't seem like we're dying right now. It doesn't seem like we need energy right now, but I do need some energy. You know what? I have some extra storage. Let me just grab from that. because it's not so intense, and it's like, oh, this is here for a reason. I'm gonna use it because it doesn't seem like this guy's really stressed out that much. Let me use that because I don't need to use everything else. Everything else is fine. Now, the types of cardio that you could do vary. So the type of cardio that we do recommend is low intensity. That means treadmill, that means slight incline, that means roughly zone 2 cardio. All that means is cardio you could do while you're still having a conversation with a friend. That should make you extremely excited, because I know for me, when I learned this, I was like, dude, you're telling me I could go to the gym and not die on the treadmill afterwards and have to sprint and like fucking really try hard to just burn some fat? No. You could have a great workout with a buddy, and then after, hop on a treadmill for 15-20 minutes, go on a walk, right? Joke, laugh, fucking watch a Netflix show, and get off. And then after about 2 weeks of doing that consistently, you just see the fat fall off. It sounds too good to be true, but I'm telling you, when you try this, as I have and many of my clients have, you'll notice the fat fall off without even really feeling like you're working any harder. And it is a magic pill that nobody talks about. So low intensity cardio, now there's a lot of forms of that. That could be a whole different video on its own, but low intensity is the key. And when you can manage to just do that and create a system around that, you will be losing fat like a maniac. I spent years and years of my life trying to learn to lose weight, right? I think I ingested so much knowledge, and knowledge that helped me and didn't help me throughout the decade of my fat loss journey. And I understand how extremely frustrating it is not understanding why this fucking fat won't fall off your body. Why is it that it feels like it's impossible? Other people just have it so easy. They eat whatever they want, they hit the gym sometimes, and they look great. And then we're fucking standing there and we're a blob of everything, even though we work our asses off. And yeah, we have some moments where we fall off and binge, but we're human. Like, we're not perfect, but why won't the fat come off? And I understand that feeling so well, to the point where I created a system specifically around just what helped me actually lose the weight. And it all came down to the truth: cardio. And cardio was the number one thing that, when I understood how to use it, the different forms of cardio I could use, and how to actually move these triggers, these pillars of cardio, that I was able to have the fat fall off my body. And I created an entire system that helped me go from 220 pounds of extra fat boy weight down to 180, where I could finally see my abs, get the body that I always knew I wanted and could get if I just knew how to get there. And I created that for free for you guys, because I know it's just so frustrating. It's so sickening, and I hate that people struggle with this. So I put the real information and real knowledge of how to get there down in a PDF down below. So if you just go ahead and click that, you could get that completely for free. Look at the system, learn it, love it, study it, understand it. Because when you implement this into your own workout routines, into your own system of dieting, you will shred fat like crazy. And I'm 100%, if you follow it all the way through, you will see the weight loss. And really, my main goal here is just to help you guys get the systems that actually work, because I don't want you guys spending a decade like I did learning this, right? If I just had this guide, I would have cut literally 10 years to focus on something else. Maybe on weightlifting, maybe on something else that you want to do. I don't know what else you would want to do, but to finally get over the hump of not understanding why fat doesn't fall off and how to actually do it. So it's down there for you to download. If you want to know more main points on where you're probably messing up, as I did over the decade, you need to watch this video right here, because I go into the other parts of dieting and working out and systems that work to actually lose me a ton more weight.